And welcome back to Spellforce. My dogs have eaten.
I'll
We
stay
can
right
get
here.
back to things. We can have fun again. Fun.
Huh?
Who doesn't like fun? Everyone likes fun, right? Fun is fun.
All right, let's catch our breath first. Angar, I'll talk to you when I'm ready to discuss the next steps.
Good. I'll be waiting.
Yes.
Yo, we gotta talk
Tahar,
about that shit.
thank Nihal if you're awake. For a while, I wasn't sure you'd make it. How do you feel? Out on the battlefield, we didn't really get the chance.
Could be worse.
Well, that's good to hear. It's a tragedy. The purity on the loose, with the power of the Archfire, and for what it's worth. I'm sorry I had to go through this. I truly am.
Be that as it may, all that matters now is that we stop him. What about you, Iskram? I doubt whatever bargain you struck with the Kane still stands. You're still here, so I guess you aren't planning on leaving.
Me? No, of course not. Where would I go, Tahar? There's no way of knowing what the Purity would do if they caught me. He wanted to kill you, so maybe Lacane doesn't. Not to mention that we're still in the ancient Shaper city, full of marvels waiting to be discovered.
Well, I'm...
Frown hasn't helped anyone yet, has it? There's, one more thing I wanted to ask you.
Ask.
I'm not sure how to say this, but she was a Shaper. A living shape.
Don't talk about her as if she's already dead.
Of course. Sorry, I meant no offense. See, Tahar, all tragedy aside, you have to understand how fascinating this is. A Shaper who survived through the Aeons. And as if that weren't enough, you even turn out to be related. I have so many questions, Tahar, so many questions. Iria said at the moment Andra and you melded, she made you see something. Now, I can't help but wonder, what was it? Did you...
I didn't see anything. It's more like I suddenly...
But that's even more exciting. She must have transferred some of her memories onto you. I wonder if that's part of this melding ritual. Look, Tahar, I'm not sure how to say this, but how would you feel about it if I examine her? There's so much we could learn from her, even if her mind has left her body.
Iskram, I just lost my mother. The last thing I want to talk about right now are medical examinations on her body.
All right. I understand. Sorry, Tahar. I meant no offense. I think I should get back to work.
Yeah, Isgrim is...
I'll see you
His
around.
heart is not in the right place. That's how I feel anyways.
Blasted armor.
The man is just obsessed. He is obsessed, and he takes that obsession a little too far. Like his insane obsession with anything Shaper related. He thinks it's always something helpful because it's Shaper related, and he wants to believe that anything related to the Shapers is good.
Sure.
But that couldn't be further from that couldn't be further from the truth. He is simply foolish.
Tahar, ready to discuss the next steps?
I want to talk about Sentenza. His death.
Well, what is there to say? As I heard the story, he didn't leave you much choice.
So you're not angry?
For you defending your life? No. I never understood why he was so obsessed with hunting you down to begin with.
But he was acting on your orders.
Well, yes, strictly spoken, he was. You were a traitor, or at least that's what we thought back then. That witch hunt in Iskander, the battle at the Eye, that was his choice.
Why? Why did he want me dead so badly?
Well, I can only guess. But to me, it seemed as if he felt as if you had, I don't know, betrayed him. He always spoke highly of you. Did you know that? At times, it almost felt as if he considered you his own kin.
Well, if he did, he didn't show it very much.
That doesn't surprise me. Sentenza was never good at expressing emotions. You see, Tahar, in the end, both he and I are men born from war. Seeing people die at your command, hearing the widows and the orphans cry as a result of your choices, It changes you. You need to find a way to deal with it. And Sentenza did so by shutting off his emotions entirely. Or at least to the outside. But in the end, he always did what he thought was best for Nortender. He saw the Harbinger's true face, even before he revealed it. And I brushed it off as his usual distrust towards anyone, which was, as you know, a fatal mistake. And who knows, maybe if I had listened, it would never have come to this.
Without the Harbinger, I'd be dead.
That's true. But this discussion isn't leading us anywhere, Tahar.
You didn't tell me yet. How exactly did you get here?
No, I wasn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here. But we were on our way back the night it happened. As you can imagine, it was a hard choice to make. But eventually, I left my pride behind and realized attacking Greykeep with the little division I was traveling with would have been suicide.
So you fled?
We retreated. The rest is simple. We went to Iskander because we had heard the rumors about your army. There we met one of your scouts, and then the elven woman, Iria of Finon Mir.
Oh, she decided to let you in.
Correct. You know the rest. Your people were a bit distrustful at first, and I don't blame them. After all, they'd been fighting the Royal Army not too long ago. But eventually, they realized that we were on the same side.
For what it's worth, I'm glad to have the Lord Marshal.
Well, right now, I doubt if I still deserve the bed, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I am.
Good. Then let's call you companions.
Good. Now that you're all here, I'd like to plan how we proceed. As...
Tahar, I think you should allow yourself some more rest. You were in a coma for more than a month, and we still don't know what that melding actually did to you.
Isn't it obvious? It made her more powerful.
Yeah, but where does that power come from? What effect does it have on the human body or the psyche? We don't know.
It doesn't matter if I'm all right or not. We can't waste any more time.
Fine.
Thank you. So, our objective is clear. We need to defeat the Purity of Light and save my mother. Angar, am I right to assume that Lacane made Greykeep his new base of operations?
Correct. It's the center of his power, which is both good and bad. It's bad because Greyfell was built to withstand any kind of ambush.
And why is it good?
Because it also means if we succeed and reconquer Greyfell, we'll cut off the snake's head. Once we kill Lacane, the Purity will fall. However, there's no point in fooling ourselves. That battle for Greyfell will be bloody.
Ultran, Hallet, and Wulfgar.
Yes. If we put this army together with theirs, we might stand a chance. Also, you should see if you can strengthen the alliances you already have, Tahar. I have a plan regarding that, so we can...
So do I.
All right. So where do we start?
It's up to you. But before we can even think about arranging a conclave between the Isgrim, any ideas?
Actually, it should be simple. We need to find the one controlling her.
And who is controlling her? What if it's the Harbinger himself?
I doubt it. The manipulator has to be physically close to his subject, so it'll most likely be someone in Lady Myra's army. But
good. Then I have a plan. The Harbinger has taken up position in Iskander, between the Utran and the Everlight border. You know that place, Tahar. It's where your father started his rebellion.
The Loyalist camp. So, what's your plan?
We strike in full force and take the castle. He'll be forced to initiate a counterattack. And my sister's armies, the Utran army, will be the closest one.
Hey!
A bait.
Yes, we hold the castle against the main army, whereas you, Tahar,
Chihuahuas! Hey!
behind enemy lines. You find the rune carrier and strike from the shadows. Obviously, you'll have to act quick. We can't hold against the entire Utran army forever.
You can if I tell you to. You'll wait as long as I want you to wait. Not a second longer or a second sooner.
All right. So we take over the castle, wait for the Utran armies to cross the border, sneak behind their lines, and eliminate the rune carrier. And once Lady Myra is freed, we will gain the support of House Hallet and House Wulfgar.
Yes, though we'll need to take care of something else before that.
Agreed. One more thing. This will be dangerous, and our original mission has been completed. Well, then we best get prepared now. I'll tell you.
Understood. Tahar, I'd also like to talk with you if you have a moment.
Corporal Tahar. A word, if you will?
Who are you?
Private Miller, Corporal. I'm from the Royal Army and came here with the Lord Marshal. We've captured someone who we suspect belongs to the Purity. He was seen in the deserted village outside this, and he looks suspicious. He claims to be a simple courier sent to deliver a message to you, but we didn't want to take any risks. Near the entrance to the caves.
I see. Thank you, soldier. Dismissed.
Corporal?
Well, we gotta talk to people.
Ah, I was hoping you'd come by. That was quite the surprise visit, wasn't it? The Harbinger couldn't have picked a better time for his attack.
I guess you could say that. How's your injury? That blast from the barrier looked quite painful.
The blast? Oh yeah, sure. I'm as good as new. One of the perks of being a light mage. Tahar, I'm sorry. For everything.
What do you mean?
Well, what you discovered in that dungeon. I didn't see that coming, honestly. I mean, I'd always felt you were different, but an experiment of your father? I would have never guessed. And now that bastard Lacane took your mother. It's just, one tragedy follows another. Now I feel almost ridiculous thinking about my supposed problems.
Problems are always subjective.
I guess they are. Tell me, Tahar, if you had had the choice, would you have wanted to know? About your mother and how you were born?
Well, what about you?
Good question. On the one hand, yes, I think I would. I guess in the end it wouldn't have really mattered. But you're a different story. Your mother is still alive.
Yes.
Is it? Sometimes I wonder if Anyway, Shaper or not, it's good to have you back. Honestly, there were times when I was worried you wouldn't ever wake up again.
I'm touched.
You better be. Anyway, in case you were wondering, I'm not planning to leave now. If you need my help, I'll be here.
Thanks, Iria. I really appreciate it.
Great. And now that we've got that out of the way, you should get some more sleep. You still look like a walking corpse. Don't make a habit out of it. I'll talk to you later. Corporal? Need anything?
You never told me why you fled Finn and Mir.
Fair enough. You've given me little reason to distrust you, so... Oh well. Let's just get this over with. I already told you about my father. How to him, I had always been more of an asset. Well, after my father died, I decided to become a novice.
A novice?
Someone aspiring to be a priest of Ellen. I don't know why I did it. It was something my father had always considered a backup plan if an arranged marriage wouldn't work out. Part of it was probably because obeying my father was all I knew at that time.
But something happened.
Yes. In my first year, I fell in love. That crazy, hot-blooded, head-over-the-heels kind of love that the bards all sing about. The boy felt the same way, and for the next year it was, well, it was perfect. It was the two of us against the world. Maybe you know that feeling.
And I guess your romance didn't end well.
You guess right. But it was more than that. You know, I told you how I always felt estranged around other people. I knew how to put on a smile, how to make myself fit in, but it was always fake. Shallow. With him, it was different. Dramatic as it may sound, I thought I had finally found someone who understood me. Then there was the novitiate. Despite all the time I sunk into doing the crazy things lovers often do, I never failed as a student. Or, no, let's put it another way. I was the best, in every aspect.
Which didn't sit well with some people.
No. And eventually, they made sure I felt it. They excluded me from everything, stared at me when I walked by. It hurt, yes, but I convinced myself it didn't. I've always been good at that.
But what happened?
My lover's friends started manipulating him. Telling him that I only saw him as my pet, that he was a failure, and that I only kept him around to feel good about myself.
That's toxic! He should have
What,
been...
and he listened to them? That's pathetic.
Maybe. But he was young, same as I, and young people often do irrational things. You see, we novices all knew that only 4 out of 20 will be granted priesthood at the end of our training. And being a failed novice leaves you with a mark you'll keep for the rest of your life. It all looked peaceful on the surface, but beneath that it was an arena. And these other novices, they made sure my friend became aware of that fact. To him, I started being a rival as well. And do you want to know the biggest joke of it all? I didn't see it. The idea that, I don't know, that he would listen to them. That he would ever reach a point where he'd put what we had below his hurt pride and his fears. It never crossed my mind.
So, what happened?
Well, he knew I was curious by nature, so one night when we were in bed together, he suddenly asked. Of course I said yes. So we snuck out into the cloister's courtyard. It was beautiful. We made our way to the library building, but of course the door was locked. It was insane. As you can imagine, priests aren't known for being lenient towards these kinds of but I liked it. And he took my hand and we went to the High Priestess's office to open the grimoire, the High Priestess's spellbook.
Whatever that is, it sounds like that was a terribly bad idea.
It was. It was a stupid idea. And if I hadn't been so blind, so bloody naive, I should have seen it by then. But I didn't.
What did he ask you to do?
To open it and try to read one of the spells. He teased me. You know, saying it like that. It sounds so bloody stupid, doesn't it? But again, long story short, I lost control. The spell was too much for me to handle and it misfired. One moment I was staring at the pages,
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
How far did that fire spread?
Not far. It was put out before it could do real damage. But, of course, that was the end of novitiate. I was thrown into the cell of shame and sentenced to 12 years of polishing prayer banks and...
You're a lover.
I think so. The only bloody gratification I ever got from this. But even if he would have confessed and begged me to take him back, I couldn't have. All that connection, that trust.
But you never polished those prayer banks, am I right?
No. In the night after the trial, they still let me sleep in my chamber. Thoughtlessness, I suppose, or maybe they simply didn't care. So, here it is, the whole truth. No dark secrets, no assassinations, no necromantic rituals. Just a plain old broken heart. Compared with all that shit you had to go through, it almost sounds ludicrous.
It doesn't. Being betrayed by someone you trust often hits the hardest.
Yeah, I guess. It's just, I don't get it. How could he give all that up? I mean, there was something between us, you know? But in a way, it's just a continuation of what I've always known. Wherever I am,
For what it's worth?
Yeah. I'd like some space now. I hope you don't mind. Let's talk later.
I don't mind at all. Take all the time you need. In fact, take this. Because I'm tired of having to keep your ass alive. Do I want this one on her? Actually, I think I do. Do I? Nah, that goes on Undergast. She can have this. As for me, well, immune to stun, aura of haste? Hell yes. Absolutely. Rowan, I'm just not sure about him. Not that one. He already has that. Chihuahua? Get under your blankie and stop putting your fucking paws on my shoulder. Stop it. Stop. Stop everything you're doing right now. What? What is... You want down? Is that it? You're trying to crawl into my lap. You're scared of something. I can tell. Pixie, okay, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Goodness. Goodness. Let me look you over. What are you scared of? Did someone attack you? You look unharmed. You have no wet spots on you. What's wrong? What's wrong? Did you hurt yourself? Is it your back? Pixie's had back problems before. Pixie? What's wrong? What's wrong, little shit? Aww. Pixel. You know I love you. You know I love you. What's wrong? Is it your back? Is your spine compressed? Is that it? Are you having some compression problems? She's not crying out when I touch her back, so I have no idea what her problem might be. Here, here. I will hold you closer to my chest. Okay. 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 What's wrong? Why are you shaking? Lexi. What's wrong? Is something the matter? Is there an issue? Pixie, you're gonna worry everyone with this behavior. Okay. Okay. You're safe. You're safe. Goodness, I don't know what this is all about, little girl. Okay, you want down? Okay. She's really startled about something. I have no idea what. I wish I could know what is causing her such distress, but I simply cannot. I cannot tell what it is. It's actually impossible for me. I don't know. I wish I had a way of figuring this out, but I do not.
What's next?
As far as I'm aware, she's just having a panic attack for some reason. I have no idea the reason.
So, what's the plan?
I think I put this ring on Rowan, actually. I think that's better. Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, my dog is
Tahar,
throwing a fit.
what is it?
You knew about my mother, didn't you? That's what you hinted at back in the forge before we set out to the Eye.
Well, the answer is
Where'd she go?
yes and
Where'd my little
no.
shit go?
I had
I
suspicions.
gotta look for her now.
Let us call
She
it
just
that.
ran
But
off
they weren't
somewhere.
enough to go on, and I had no idea your mother was connected to the blood burn.
Where the hell did that little dog go? Sorry, guys. This is important to me. As far as I can tell, she kind of just vanished. And I need to know where she is. For my own comfort. Okay, she's just out in the backyard. I hope she comes in soon. If she doesn't come in for a while, I'm gonna get real worried about if anything happened to her while she was out there. But for now, she's fine. I don't know what she was shaking and acting all so panicky about. Maybe she has constipation? Maybe she's constipated. I don't know. Hey, sorry about the interruption. This was important, and I could not simply ignore my dog being missing for a video game. That would be ridiculous. Yeah, sorry.
Why didn't you tell me?
That I believe you might be the result of your father's experiments? That you're the offspring of some long dead... I mean, at best, you wouldn't have believed me. And at worst, it would have cost you your sanity. So no, I don't think I should have told you. I didn't know if these suspicions had any substance at all. And I would have been at great risk, especially back then when you were still part of the rebellion.
Where did these...
No. And he never found out that I knew. Your father... I don't need to tell you how much... I found one. A notebook. The story's actually quite simple. Your father had gone out to meet with Aelot Iskander, and had tasked me with cleaning up his lab...
Really? He never let me into his laboratory.
I know. And he wasn't exactly trustworthy towards me, neither. But you know Asamo. His mood was never what you'd call stable. One day, it was part of his charisma, I guess. Sometimes I think the reason why the Mage Rebellion became so big was less of it. So I had found this small booklet on his table. It didn't look important in any way, yet I was immediately curious. I opened it.
What was in there?
His experiments in the eye. The ancient woman, as he called her. Your creation, these waxwork figures which he tried to infuse with life. It was disturbing. And at the same time, fascinating. As you can imagine.
That book. Did it...
I don't think it can be compared to how two humans reproduce, if that's what you're thinking. But as for the details, I don't know. As I said, I barely had 1 hour.
So, why did he... well...
Yes, I think that was the main reason. Though I couldn't help but notice a certain... I don't know... warmth in his words when he described his plans.
Was there?
I know it sounds cynical, Taha. Still, I don't think you were just a tool to him. You weren't. Tell me, Tahar, knowing all that, how does it make you feel?
I just found out that my mother is a Shaper corpse and that my father created me as a tool to gain power. How do you think I feel?
You're right, I'm sorry. Either way, I think we both need some time to think. As I said, Tahar, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you earlier, but I simply didn't know what to do. Yes?
I wanted to talk about...
I had a feeling. Look, back at Greykeep, the situation seemed crystal clear. You killed 3 of your brethren, and General Noria openly spoke out against you. Similar to my policy regarding the purity of light, I can now see that I was wrong. It was all I could do.
I understand.
That's good. Either way, you've been pardoned. I don't hold any grudges against you. And
the past is the past.
It is indeed.
Did you ever think about what would happen if the...
She will wake up. The healers claim that
They've claimed that ever since that dragon incapacitated her.
the Queen has Hibernian blood in her veins. And as long as her heart is still beating. Though, of course, that is not to say that others at the court haven't done it. Most people believe that Queen Aelith doesn't have an heir.
Really? Who?
A cousin. I suppose you know about the Queen's problematic ancestry. The ability to give life. However, it was rumored that her uncle, Anno Elith, left an heir before he died. A bastard son.
It's the first time I've ever...
Yes, because the Crown took measures to quiet these rumors. Suffice it to say that Queen Aelith's supposed cousin is far from an ideal candidate for the throne. But I will not go into detail on this topic. I can feel it.
You said that you have an idea on how we can get more allies to fight the Purity.
Yes, I do. It's someone you're already familiar with. At least, according to your friend Iria. The Iron Falcons.
You want to convince them to join...
Not all of them, obviously. The Field Dog are an even greater threat than the Purity, even if most people nowadays have almost forgotten about them. What I suggest is that we strike a bargain with them. They give us a small division of their elite keepers, and we provide them with...
engineers and infantry for a handful of knights? Is that...
It is. The Falcons aren't only excellent fighters. Their presence will also inspire our soldiers. They're living legends.
That's not what it seemed like when I was there. Highkeeper Aranor almost lost...
Well, given that the latter now fight for the Harbinger, her mistrust wasn't that unjustified, don't you think? But still, you make a fair point. Keeper Aranor is...
All right. It's worth a try.
Whenever you want. Thanks to these Godstones, it won't take us long to get there. So I'm not expecting this mission to cost us more than a day, 2 at most.
Fair enough. I'll let you know when we...
Good.
Tahar, how are you feeling? To be honest, I thought you were dead. While you were in that coma, I was unable to read or feel any thoughts and emotions emanating from your spirit.
I'm still trying to make sense of what happened.
Yes, it must be confusing. There is something else I would like to talk about. Maybe you have guessed it already.
Your friend. Now you know what killed him.
Her. She was a woman, and her name was Mila. But yes, that's right. Now I do. It was your mother. The Shaper.
What do you feel?
I don't know. Ultimately, the question I asked myself is, can there be culpability if there was no ill intent? I've done many things which people might consider evil, but then again, I didn't do them out of malice, but because I needed to. Because feeding my urges... I know the situation is slightly different from your mother's. She didn't know her song killed people. But ultimately it did. So the question is she to blame for Mila's death? And if not, who is?
It's my father's fault. If he had...
And you wouldn't exist. Isn't that a strange thought? At least I know now what happened. That alone gives me some kind of closure.
And what now?
Yes, I will.
For what it's worth.
It's good that you feel that. Let us talk later if there's something to talk about, Tahar. Thank you for your time.
Her urges. She has the urge to kill.
Yes, Corporal? How can I help?
You said you know where we can find more...
Yes. I'll be brief. While you were asleep, an elven met
Marilith.
Only that he needed your help. They, that is, he and a couple of his followers, seemed to be somewhere deep in the Leafshade jungle, near the Halaish ruins.
All right.
We should. Is there anything else you wish to discuss, Tahar?
Yes.
Yes, Corporal?
About you being an assassin. You said that you might...
I'm still not certain. The question really is, do you want...
Well, I wouldn't have asked.
All right. Where should I begin? Do you remember what I told you about that man who bought me from the Greyfell Bazaar? My owner? I also told you that after an incident, he discovered my talents and made me an assassin.
I remember. But what does that have to do with your morality?
It's complicated. The incident took place at a festivity. A lot of highly influential people were there, servants of the crown, wealthy merchants, nobles. My master knew all of Greyfell's elites. As always, at these festivities, it must have been close to midnight, when a man took me into his chambers. I'd learned to play along years ago, because resisting only made it worse. This time, however, was different. For some reason, that man wanted me to tell him that I loved him. I did, but he kept on telling me that I should say it like I had almost lost consciousness when I felt something break. I don't know how else to put it. It was as if my mind...
I don't follow.
My magic. My dreamweavery. That's when it broke free. You probably don't know this, but the only way to become a dreamweaver is by shattering your mind. You are opening yourself to the thoughts and emotions of others, but you lose your own.
What happened to the man?
I killed him. It wasn't a conscious choice, looking back. I even think that shattering my mind was my body's way of ensuring survival. I closed my eyes, reached out for the man's mind, and just crushed it. The man gasped. At first I was disoriented, but then I felt it.
To kill him?
Yes. To massacre him. Hear his screams. To see his life taken by my hand. To get back to your original question, that urge, it stuck with me. Ever since then, I've found violence and bloodshed to be ecstatic, erotic even. And when I kill someone, like I killed that man, I feel...
And this is why you become an assassin?
Yes. My master introduced me into the craft. Probably because he knew that my dreamweavery had changed me. I wasn't just a slave child anymore. I was a weapon now. More than that, even. I needed what these new tasks my master sent me. Of course, I briefly considered changing my profession after my master had his accident. But I didn't. Killing is something I need, as much as a child needs the love of his mother. If I don't feed my urge,
But is there...
No, there isn't.
That's a...
I know. Now tell me, Tahar. Do you regret asking me this question? Knowing all this, do you think I'm a monster?
You're not.
Really? Anyway, I would like some time for myself now.
She absolutely is a monster. I just hope she isn't killing innocent people. That's where I draw the line.
Sure.
But I don't think she is.
Tahar, it is good to see that you have recovered.
They did?
Yes. The Lord Marshal tried to assume control, but as you might have expected, he did not have everybody's support. I was even fearing an internal power struggle. And I must say, Tahar, your mother, she is remarkable. I have always wondered what the Shapers look like, and now I do. It is fascinating, though I suppose this is a difficult topic for you. Forgive me if my words were inappropriate.
All that matters is that we save her. We need to stop Lacane and get my mother's spirit back into her body.
Yes, this is our objective.
Sorry,
is there
Chloe?
anything else you wanted to talk about?
I hope you haven't been scratching at your stitches. Everything looks fine. Okay. I'll keep giving you your antibiotics.
Yes, what is it?
Where's Pixie? Has she come back in yet? There's Tucker. No, I'll...
So, Undergast,
Oh, go ahead. Okay,
when
for a
you
second.
told me about your split with Lena, I got the feeling that you were more than just colleagues.
You are asking if we were in love. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Then let me start by telling you that the term love is undefined and that theories about it conflict one another. I have read a lot of books on it, and I've studied the poems, and I've come to the conclusion that it is ultimately a primitive, carnal
She's fine,
urge that
she's
people
back
have
inside.
come to romanticize for the emotions that come with it. I, myself, never felt it, and maybe that was because I saw the underlying mechanisms. I always found it strange how people overreact so strongly to such a simple emotion, and maybe that very fact stopped me from being able to feel these emotions at all.
I was cleaning up while I was talking, but then he just stopped. He sounds like he's... And yet you fell...
So, what you're saying is that you were never able to feel love. But then Lena came along and you did?
No, it was not that simple. What stood out in our relationship was that we connected. I've never felt that before. You see, Tahar, to me, the bonds people have always felt peculiar. And I am not like Yana. Her mind simply does not have the ability to feel these bonds anymore. She had them once, but then she lost them as she became a dreamweaver. My brain is capable of feeling these things, but I am unable to connect with the outside world. I only have my own mind as a frame of reference. For example, when a person tells you yes, whereas he or she means no, you might be able to feel this discrepancy because you are able to empathize with her. I can't. To me, this person's distress would make no sense whatsoever. But then there was Lena. For some bizarre reason, she understood me and I understood her. Or at least, I thought that I did. It was as if this barrier, this shell that separates my mind from others, was pervious to her emotions. I know how strange it sounds, and I also have no explanation for why this was, yet it changed me. All at once, I felt connected. Do you know this feeling, Tahar? You have traveled with these people for quite some time now. Is there anyone you were, well, fond of?
Ah, jeez. I don't know, I guess... I mean, Gore's kinda alright. I like the High Marshal, and I like Yuria. I wouldn't touch Ayana with a 10-foot pole, though.
Well,
I see. Then you probably know how distracting such a feeling can be. To be honest, when I first became aware of that bond between Lena and me, I was horrified. I could not focus anymore. When I sat down to write my studies, I realized after hours that none of...
your inability...
Yes. If it were not, I might have considered my sudden connection to Lena as a symbol of over... Even though I felt connected to Lena, I was still unable to feel the same way towards others. This is what...
What did Lena make of all that?
Nothing. Unlike me, she did not try to analyze, to understand it. I believe this is what made our relationship unique. Complete acceptance. She did not try to tell me how I should behave or feel, and neither did I. Even when she decided...
Am I right to assume that your relationship ended with your disagreement over...
No, you misunderstand. We never had a relationship. Although the feelings were mutual and we, well, acted on them, we never felt the need to bind ourselves to some close-minded societal construct. But yes, you are correct. It was the disagreement that broke our bond. Quietly, she left and never returned again.
Do you feel...
Betrayed? No. By betrayal, people use desires, wishes, and urges are natural things, and I always found the usage of such heavily judgmental words to be very childish. Lena did what she thought was right, and so did I. I have not.
What? So you didn't even argue?
As I said, acceptance of one another's nature and decisions was a pivotal element in our interactions. Though I did notice that my unwillingness to follow her on her mission caused her more emotional distress than she usually would have felt. You see, if there ever was disharmony between us, it was when she tried to encourage me to embrace the world, as she put it. She told me that both I as a person and my studies would benefit from more first-hand experience.
Such as?
Well, anything. Traveling, studying the Tsarlanthep ruins first-handed, even visiting the city of Everlight every once in a while. She seemed to think that it could help me get... But again, she never tried to force me. I could tell that my unwillingness upset her, but like always, she...
How do you feel about this?
That is a good question. I still think about her, almost every day. But the more time passes, the more this entire episode starts to feel like a vague, distant dream. I do not know how I would feel if I ever saw her again.
I can imagine. Well...
You have nothing to thank me for. If this conversation... But there is one more thing I would like to ask.
Tell me.
Do you have regrets? Do you ever feel as if you could and should have acted differently than you did act?
Everybody has regrets.
That seems like a deliberately vague answer. It could indicate... You see, I've never told you this. But I...
How so?
Well, it is no secret that you have endured a lot of pain. Especially your early childhood must have made a mark on your psyche. But still, you did not give up.
Well, I'm doing what I can.
I can see that. Either way, I think we have spent enough time talking.
We should. So long, Undergast.
I didn't unlock his affinity. There must be more dialogue in his near future. Got it. Understood, game. Thanks for telling me. I already crafted everything in craft. Look how fast we are at all times. Oh my god, I forgot how nice this feels. And I think there are cheats that enable
That's the way.
third level abilities early.
So you made it after all. No,
You didn't think I...
no. That sleep you were in. I didn't feel that there was any life left in you. But then again, you always were dead. That new energy inside you, though.
So you can feel it?
That's like standing in front of a bonfire and being asked if you can feel the heat. Anyway, in case you're here,
So you'll help me fight the...
you make it sound as though this thing is somehow your responsibility. It isn't. That fanatic with his idiotic stories. So yeah,
That's good news. Thank...
don't mention it. Anything else? Huh?
You said you know where we...
Yeah, I'll make it short. The Ash Reavers have invaded the foot of Bargagor. If we defeat them and their leader, like we defeated
So we head back to Bargagor?
well, yeah. Except for one thing. Kagan, the Ash Reavers chieftain.
Why? Because...
No. You see, becoming a shapeshifter in Orcish culture is complicated. I did my trial with another apprentice, a female named Rain. We were... long story short, during the trial we found ourselves locked inside a cave, deep inside the mountain of Bargagor. After weeks of starving, Rain sacrificed herself for me, without my consent. She did it well, to get to the point. Kagan is Rain's true brother. To this day, he thinks...
Did you ever try to...
We only met once. And yes, I did try to talk to him. It ended in a fight which I won. That disgrace only... And truth be told, that was my last attempt to convince him. I knew it was fruitless. Our tribes lived weeks of journey from each other. And, well, which as you can guess, didn't work.
I see. And that's why he invaded...
It must be. Bloodthirsty as the Ash Reavers are, there is no reason for them to start a war with the Fire Wielders, especially now that we unified them. He must have heard that I'm behind. In other words, we need to stop him, and as fast as possible. According to one of my sources, the Purity is also planning to start an attack on Bargagor. The Fire Wielder should be able to hold.
So what's the plan? Return to Bargagor?
If all else fails, yes. We will kill him. For the sake of my people, and for our cause. But he's right that I didn't kill him.
All right.
Yes, Chieftain Czar already left before you woke up to get an idea of the situation. I know time is sparse, but we should leave as soon as... Huh?
Regarding this rain you...
Want to talk about it. I'm not supposed to, but... I don't know. Zarek's fangs, this is so silly. Feel like a damn child.
Gore, just spit...
Right. Before becoming a shaman, every disciple has to go through a trial. I told you that I did most of my training in solitude, didn't I? That wasn't true. 5 years after I entered disciplehood, another orc was accepted by my elder. A female named Rain. She was 2 years younger than me.
I thought only male orcs can be gifted.
No. It's just that for female orcs, it's even rarer to have magic.
How did you get along?
Well, at first, I was a complete dick to her. I was jealous and feared for my position. However, she never took offense by it. She fired back at me when I got childish, but at the same time never lowered herself to my level. As the years went by, we became friends. And no, there was no courting or mating involved, if that's what you're thinking. She was more like a sister to me, and one who, unlike my true kin, understood me. Those years in the Orcish steppes, they were special. We spent days We just had this connection between us, this trust.
But something happened. Am I right?
Yeah, the trial did. The sacred test. Our elder sent us both at the same time, which was unusual. But of course I was relieved. There was plenty of talk about the Iron Trial, and I was scared.
What did you know about the
Rumors. Shamans are forbidden to talk about it. But same as I. Believe me, Tahar, only a fool would have entered into the trial with...
So, what happened?
Zarek's fangs. I can't believe I'm telling you this. I'm breaking my oath.
For what it's worth,
I know you will, Tahar. We weren't told much about the trial. Only that we'd have to venture to a cave, far up in Barga Gor. They also didn't tell us how to get there. Only that Zarek would guide us. And he did. After a week of traveling, we found it. It was a strange place, Tahar. I saw that right from the beginning. The entrance looked like a mouth, but of course, we went in. We had to.
What did you find?
A giant hall. It was as mesmerizing as it was unsettling. There were murals and carvings all over the cave.
Shaper glyphs, maybe?
No, not Shaper. They looked as if the...
Interesting. What else was there?
Nothing. That's what baffled me. Apart from those murals, the hall was completely empty. There were braziers, one in each corner of the hall, and they were burning brightly. Rain was as confused as I was, but because all of a sudden, the exit was gone. No magical noise, nothing. Just in that moment when we looked the wrong direction, it disappeared. And instead of it, we were looking at another wall.
Strange. What did you do?
Well, after we calmed down a little, we assessed our situation. We figured that this was the Iron Trial, and that it was our task to find another exit. So we started looking. But it was pointless. There was nothing. For the next 14 days, we were trapped. We couldn't make that wall disappear, and no matter how long we studied the glyphs, how long we prayed. On the 5th day, our provisions had come to an end. Save for half a skin of water and a handful of jerky.
Blazes. How did...
I'm getting there. As you can imagine, the thirst was the worst. It drove us mad, and we searched every corner of that... Have you ever had thirst, Tahar? Real thirst?
No.
And hope it stays that way. I'd rather bleed out on a pole than experience that again. On the 11th day, Rain and I were puking our guts out. Our skin had literally started to crack, and I felt as if I was burning from within. On the 12th day, we were only an inch from death.
A dream?
Yes, a shared dream, almost like a vision. Then I saw what was different. The floor was full of blood, and that's when I first understood what they were depicting. For some reason in the real world, I'd never been able to.
What did they depict?
It showed what was expected from us, what we had to do to get out. Sorry this isn't easy. I've dreamed about those weeks ever since. But telling someone, it feels bizarre. Zarek demanded a fight. Either one of us died by the hands of the other, or we would die there together. The Iron Trial. We were never both meant to pass.
Truth be told, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And it shouldn't have surprised me either. But for some reason, he had known Tahar, our elder, our master. He had known that it would come to this. Yet he still decided to send the two of us out at once.
So you fought each other?
No. Trial or not, I would have rather died than done that. And that's precisely what I told Rain. A god that demands a man to kill his own sister is not a god that deserves worship by anyone. But Rain wouldn't have it. She claimed that if both of us died, both of our lives would be wasted for nothing. I got angry and
I don't understand.
she wanted me to kill her. She told me that she was already too weak to make it down the mountain anyway, but that I could still make it. Believe me, Tahar, if there had been any strength left in me, I would have punched her just for suggesting it.
Did you ever consider sacrificing yourself?
No. I know it makes me sound like a coward, and maybe that was part of the reason why I didn't. But the sane part of my mind still believed that there had to be another way. That all this was just some cruel joke, and the cave we had found maybe wasn't Zarek's after all.
And yet you're here.
I am. I should have known before she even did it. She always had to have it her way, no matter the price. It happened when I was asleep. She took my dagger from its sheath, put it into my hand, and drove it through her throat without hesitation. When I opened my eyes, her blood was already all over my face. And as if Zarek had been watching all along, the wall disappeared. No noise. Just like that. The wind was back, and it was raining outside. The first time in months. I like to think that she saw it before she died.
Did you make the descent?
I did. There were berries in a mountain goat that had been hit by a rock slide, right next to the exit. It was so absurd I almost had to laugh. When I got back to the Elder's shack, I screamed at him, then broke down and started to cry. He just listened. In the end, he told me that we had both known what had been at stake. Yet we agreed. Choice and consequence. He made me a shaman the next day.
Do you blame yourself sometimes?
Of course I do. But ultimately, it was her choice. And all I can do to honor her now is to respect it.
That's cruel.
Maybe. But without cruelty, there isn't life. Don't you too send brothers and sisters into battle, Tahar? Children, fathers. You do it because ultimately, you believe the outcome will lead to a world more desirable. It was the same with Rain and me. We wanted to be shamans, Zarek's chosen, and we both paid the price.
I see.
There's one more thing. Remember when you asked me why I feel the way I do about our culture? Why I think we orcs should strive for more? It's Rain who made me realize that. Most orcs would have fought each other in that cave, to the death. But she didn't. Instead of submitting to her primal instincts, she made a sacrifice. One that I could have made too, if I hadn't been such a coward. Blazes, it feels strange to have told you all this.
Well, thanks for trusting me with this.
Let me have some time for myself right now, alright? I need to think.
Gora is the best fucking storyline. It's fucking sad, of course. But Alistair, he didn't have a choice, right? So he had a choice. As he said, he blames himself for being too much of a coward to make the sacrifice himself. But still, it's a great storyline. It's a great story. And I love Gore's voice actor. I love all like little breathy sounds they do too, to like really bring life into this voice acting. There's a lot of breathing and sighs, exhalations, inhalations, so on, just throughout it all.
Alright, why not?
It really gives life to it.
Something you need?
Don't you think so?
Now would you look
I
at
think it
that?
does.
Got it.
Oh, it's not Bertrand, okay.
Oh, great. Another one. How often do you want me to tell you?
Wait, you're...
Yes.
Well, then maybe you can tell these fools to let me go. Blazes,
So? Who?
As I told this bloody brute who captured me, I had no idea it was the Corporal Tahar. And had I known, I would have told that guy who gave me the job to sod off.
Oh, finally, someone who asks. Yes, it's in my coat.
Let me see. A meeting in the Everlight.
A friend, you see? Can I go now?
Yes.
Thank you, Corporal. Thank you. Now, don't get me wrong.
They will.
I'll try.
Bertrand. Has to be, right? Who else could it be? I'm recording, right? I'm recording. Okay. There are a lot of missions to do. A lot. Now, we're gonna stop by Everlight first. And since I've sided with the elves, we're going to the old Halaeus ruins first, by the way. I've made my decision on which side I'm going to side with, so obviously I gotta stick to that conviction.
Sure.
Let's go get our olive branch. I might just end up playing this game solo. Like, replaying directly after this. Just so I can just cheat and get it all out of my system.
Sure I've got something that might spark your interest.
No. The letter said I should come alone.
What was that?
Nothing. Sorry.
How high is this guy's... Alright, 9 constitution.
Right.
The best wares from Kalea to Northampton.
I really want to sell it, but at the same time, I don't know how. I think that'd be really disrespectful.
Farewell.
Okay, Engelbert. I got you some good armor, finally. And a nice helmet.
Uh-huh.
That's right, I called him Engelbert. There's not a damn
I'll
thing
take a
he can
look.
do about it. He's just gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life.
Looking for potions and scrolls?
No,
Sure I
and you
just
have
what need.
nothing of value in your inventory. Goodbye, sir. Have a nice day. You are worthless to me.
Got it.
Interesting.
Yes? Want to trade?
No. Amulet of the Dead. After killing an enemy, cast on self, summon one Revenant. I think that's really good. I remember it being really good.
Come again.
Looking for potions and
Getting new
scrolls?
wares by the
I'm
next
sure I
moon's
have
turn.
just what you need.
Potion of
You
Empowerment.
know how to brew,
Got it.
don't you?
I'll consider it in the near future.
Just give the word.
Interesting.
I think there's a Everlight 2, or is you only go to Everlight once? No, you only go to There's no second version of Everlight. That was silly of me. I gotta find... There's only one thing left to get in Everlight. And it's a... No, there's two things. Two things left to get in Everlight. There's the other Mage's Note. Let me see. Mage's Note. Mage's Note. Yeah, Old Monastery. So we're not even close to getting that one yet. It'll come up soon, though. In the Leaf Shade quest, I believe.
Right.
Oh, no, wrong way.
Sounds like a plan.
You! I've been waiting a long time for this.
Armors, shields, everything from copper daggers
Oh.
to moon silver swords.
What?
A fair
You used to give something of value once upon a time, but either my memory is incredibly faulty or they changed your inventory. Special inventory. I swear, special inventory used to have like 3 to 5 potions of empowerment and proficiency. I have no idea what happened. He's changed. He's a different person. I don't even recognize him anymore.
Yes.
You've changed, merchant. You used to be someone respectable, but now I can't respect you any longer.
Yes? Want to trade?
Yeah, I'll buy your potion of empowerment.
Pleasure doing business with ya. Come
I
ahead.
guess.
What do you
I'm
want?
getting new wares by the next moon's
Yes.
turn.
I'm ready.
Oh, you can use the Shield of Benediction? But I don't want him to use that shield. Because he's better with two-handed swords. The Shield of Deadly Allure is just better. Shield of Benediction is good. Yeah, he's fine the way he is.
Yes?
So, what's the plan?
Yeah, just give it to her. Nah, we'll think about this. I'll consider it. The potion ain't going anywhere anytime soon anyways. It'll be in my inventory for the rest of time. Alright, get up there. Go talk to the guy.
Axes, daggers, swords, everything for the wary traveler.
Oh, there's a potion of proficiency I wanted.
You know how to bargain, don't you?
No, I don't. I just wanted this ability point. Let's upgrade that. Okay, let's just put these here. This is an aura, so we can just have it on at all times.
Yes.
Okay, I believe that is everything.
Tahar, over here.
Yep, Bertrand.
Bertrand?
Well, otherwise I would. And no, this isn't an ambush. The Harbinger doesn't know I'm here. Look, Tahar, I don't know where to begin. I'm so sorry for what Lacane did. Taking your mother, trying to kill you. It's horrible.
Then why are you here?
What? No, of course not. I'm here because you can't win this, Tahar. And all you will achieve is cause even more suffering.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but there is no solution. The Harbinger attacked Mollingdare.
You do?
What?
I said you could run. You and your friends. Disband your army, go into... Then you will see that we were right, and no one else needs to die.
I can't, Bert.
Well, I had a feeling you would say that. I never imagined it would ever come to that, you know? And I hope it hadn't.
You are the dumbest idiot in the world. Stupid. Morons. Just complete and utter moron. I think I should take that, honestly. I really do. At least one level of it.
You got it.
I will cheat one day.
Sure.
I will do a solo playthrough to replay this game again. Just full on cheating my ass off completely. Other than, you know, just the 10 and all stats, I will just do everything. As oddly enough, I really just want access to everything. And not having access to everything hurts. It hurts me right down to my soul. Okay. Yeah. How long has this been? About an hour.
When the sun shines onto the turquoise marble of Old Halayish, it is difficult not to admire the greatness of what was once the largest Hibernian city on Io. Only the story of its creation may dampen an explorer's enthusiasm. Like most Hibernian cities, it was built on the backs of slaves.
Look,
Sucks.
up ahead. I think that's them.
Not saying you are wrong, but maybe now wasn't the best time to cause turmoil among your people, don't you think?
There was no way I could have known.
Maybe not. Maybe you could have. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Seems your allies have arrived. You're Tahar, aren't you?
Watch it, Tahar. This man's aura is overwhelming.
It is indeed, but that doesn't mean he wants to harm you.
Who are you?
Just call him Silverhand. Most people do. He's a friend of the elves, you might say. Particularly of the brown blood Moorhere kind. And he's here because his friend Varden Merilith told him they had gotten themselves into trouble once again. Arlen Finrior, the first scryer of Lathwen, has disappeared.
Ran off. I think that's a better way to put it. But let's talk in the outpost. Follow me.
All right. So, where do we begin? The corruption hit again, harder than before.
But why? We cleaned the pools, didn't we?
You did, yes. But as it turns out, that was only temporary. Then, one night...
Why?
Well, he left a note.
There's more to it, though. Silverhand hasn't told.
I see. So you're here to find Arlen, is that it? And that's what you need our help for?
Yes, despite Silverhand and his mages, the jungle turns out far more perilous than anticipated. There's corrupted, there's those beasts, and there's purity, as they like to style themselves. Silverhand would call them self-important blockheads.
So what do you need us to do?
The same you did in Leafshade. Find the cause of the corruption and end it. And of course, find Arlen if he's still alive. If we don't settle that matter, we don't have a choice but order the troops we provided you with back to us.
Not to mention that the corruption might spread, which, after this land just lived through the Bloodburn, would be an unfortunate development indeed.
All right. I'll scout the jungle for traces of Arlen and the sword.
Good to hear. Thank you, Tahar.
Though Silverhand might reach out to you every now and then. We shall see.
Fair enough. Stay safe.
Okay. To be honest, I kind of want to end it right here. I want to eat something. Play something else for a little while, you know. Just relax a little more. This game and the fighting, it's getting to me a bit. A little difficult. Yeah, I just want a tiny break. Probably for the rest of the day. Spend it for myself. I'll see you later, guys. Thanks for watching.